What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at a brand new card coming out of Extreme Force. This is Downbeat, and it's a very interesting card. It actually is just like Transmodify, but essentially in reverse. When I saw the artwork, I was like, what the heck is going on here? You got a set of drums that is playing a guitar, and it's really interesting because the guitar just seems to be a regular guitar, even though I believe that is a Yu-Gi-Oh monster as well, but the drums is like alive, and it has human characteristics. It reminds me of like the Disney characters Goofy and Pluto, how Goofy is a dog, and he kind of acts like a human, but Pluto is a dog that just acts like a dog. And it's just like, wait, what? Aren't they both dogs? Why is one of them just a dog and the other one can talk and drive a car and, you know, hold objects and stuff like that? Anyways, let's go ahead and look at the card. So normal spell, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, so hard once per turn. Tribute one face-up card, or excuse me, tribute one face-up monster you control. Special summon from your deck one monster with the same type and attribute as that monster, but one level lower than the original level of that tributed monster. So this is obviously supposed to be an archetype specific card because you have to, both monsters have to be the same exact attributes and the same type. So some people have brought up, oh, well, you can just tribute a Raiden and get a Lumina from the deck and then reborn your Raiden. That doesn't work because Raiden is a warrior and Lumina is a spellcaster, but I guess it could potentially work in a deck like Lightsworn. I think where you're going to look for Downbeats and its possible applications is in a lot of archetypes, especially older ones from like Zexal and back. A lot of archetypes that do not have like hard once per turn. A couple of them that came to mind were like Morphotronics and Hieratics. I think Hieratics could use this card because Hieratics have a whole bunch of different levels. You have 5s, you have 6s in there, and obviously Hieratics, when they the monsters are tributed, they can activate. So giving up a monster in Hieratics is not really a problem because that monster is going to pay for itself. So it would be no problem to give up a Sue and go for a level 5 and then have still 2 monsters on the board. I think that in a deck like Morphotronics, I don't think it's a problem because none of the Morphotronics are hard once per turn. So if you get a couple of the same monster on the board because of Downbeat's effect, you could still activate it multiple times. Now, one deck that I think that this card could actually like super shine in, create some very, very sick plays is a deck like DESKBOT. DESKBOT, once again, just like Hieratics, have a bunch of different levels. Hell, DESKBOT have what, like level 1 through 9, I guess. But if you start with DESKBOT 3 specifically, if you normal summon DESKBOT 3 and you get DESKBOT 2, DESKBOT 2 is going to trigger and it's going to get you a search. Now, if you trade in that DESKBOT 3 for another copy of DESKBOT 2, DESKBOT 2 is not a hard once per turn, so you can activate its effect again and you could get another search, and essentially you will have taken 2 cards and those 2 cards will have turned into 2 copies of DESKBOT 2 on the field. So you could do a link summon. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could do that, and you could hypothetically have 2 pendulum skills to pretty much just go YOLO on your opponent to just, you know, special summon anything from your hand, try to OTK them. Even though you've already used your normal summon, you still have the pendulum summon at your disposal. So I think in DESKBOT, it actually has a lot of synergy, and some people have actually said that this could have some plays in Infernity because you can take an Infernity Archfiend and you can trade that in for an Infernity Necromancer, and then obviously you can just use Necromancer's effect and you can bring back the Archfiend and just continue to search and kind of wombo combo. Now it just kind of sucks because, you know, Infernity, like the whole deck is just it's in tatters, man, or it's in shambles. There we go. That's a better word to use there. It's in shambles. Everything in the deck is like limited and whatnot, but it definitely could have some applications in Infernity, or even if you just wanted to run like a small Infernity engine, it could definitely work. But I do wish that it was not a hard once per turn, but I think that this is one of those times where Konami looks at a card and they're like, we are probably going to release something way later that inadvertently breaks this card, so we're just going to kind of, you know, put a precaution in there because, you know, there are going to be archetypes that have different levels, and it's just kind of inevitable that eventually this card will see some type of play in some of them because Yu-Gi-Oh has too many archetypes with monsters that love to be tributed or that have bunches of different levels. So I think it's kind of inevitable for the card to eventually become pretty good. So I think that it's a pretty good start. There are definitely some decks you can use it in: DESKBOT, Morphotronics, Hieratics, Infernity, maybe some other ones that I haven't thought of. If you guys can think of some other good examples, leave it in the comments comment section below. Let me know what you guys think of Downbeat. I think it's actually okay. I'm not sure if it's quite as good as Transmodify, but I think that eventually it will get there. So whatever you guys think, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always, and subscribe if you have not already.